Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. You guys are all having a phenomenal day. With that being said, though, to kick off today's week in this show, I've got a very special guest joining me today. He's a man that holds a 17-1 record, 9 KOs. He's the WBA super welterweight world champion, and that's none other than Abass Baraou. Abass, appreciate taking time to come on today, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. Well, first things first, you've been elevated to the WBA world champion now. I know you kind of knew that was going to happen when you won the belt, but now to officially be world champion, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, that was a goal preparing for the last fight, and I'm happy everything has played out like this.
Now, I'm just curious, if I were to have known you, let's go back 10 years from now, right when you're about ready to make the jump from the amateurs to the pro jump, and I were to say, you know what, by the time you're 30 years old, in about a decade, you're going to be world champion. How would you have reacted at that point in time?
I'll be excited because that's the goal. That's what I was working towards. Sounds like a dream,
Mm-hmm.
and it will get me excited, definitely. Sure.
When in your life would you say you started to realize and believe that, you know what, I have a legitimate chance of accomplishing these big things? When did that start to really settle in for yourself?
Um, I mean, way early. Like, I was really stubborn as a kid, and I still have a little bit.
Hmm.
But when I set the goal to do something, I do everything to accomplish it. And when I start boxing, I want to reach the highest goals, fighting under the big lights,
Right.
big fight nights and everything. And that's what I've been working towards too since then.
So I'm curious, you've accomplished it. You are world champion. You've crossed it off your to-do list, your bucket list, I should say. Now what do you want? When you talk about the remainder of your boxing career, what do you want to accomplish? What else is there on that bucket list that you want to accomplish now?
I feel like it's getting started now. Like I'm
Mm.
very grateful becoming world champion, got this opportunity and use it. But I feel like I'm not now in the position to make great fights, to reach my potential. And I feel like there's a lot more improvement on my side, and I'm willing to do it. And I'm looking forward to reach my highest potential and claim belts after belts.
All right, so if I were to say, okay, Abass, you talked about your three biggest goals that you want to accomplish before you move on from boxing. What are those three big goals?
Um, really, like reach my prime,
Mm.
like in terms of like being in a perfect shape, experience wise, have a big fight night, really a challenging one, and accomplish it, and yeah, and undisputed.
Okay, so you want to become undisputed then at 154?
Yeah, definitely. And now being world champion, I feel like it's closer, and I can see it happening. It's a dream of mine, and getting this one belt, make it everything come closer, and I know I can accomplish it.
All right, something else you said, that very first goal is that you want to reach your prime in terms of experience, in terms of physical stature, all those different aspects. And that's a scary thought because obviously we look at yourself, you already are world champion. You're one of the top fighters in the world right now,
Yes.
and you don't believe that you're even in your prime yet. Is that true?
Yeah, I always think there's being excited, and I feel like a big fight nice ahead of me. So, and that's what I'm looking for a big fight, great challenge to be even better than before.
All right. Well, I want to go into your most recent fight because I have to imagine, and actually that's the first question I have for you, is the fight against Tellez your favorite fight of your entire career?
Yeah, my favorite so far, definitely.
All right, well, let's break down that fight because you go in there and let's be honest, Tellez was the favorite heading into that fight. He had a great career run. He's still a very, very good fighter, but you go out there and you had a phenomenal performance. I was even shocked by how well you performed there as well. And you look at your scorecards, 117, 110, 115, 112, 116, 111. You obviously have the great 12th round knockdown, which solidified that win. put it down in the resume for yourself as well. When you talk about that night, just take us through the thoughts, what was going through your mind. How special was that night for yourself?
Man, it was amazing. I knew I had a great opportunity that night, and I was so locked into that and so focused to go in there and put on a performance. I couldn't care about anything else but the win. And remember that night, I can only remember how focused I was and how much I was locked into the fight, and I didn't know what could take off my focus, and that was the goal, like to be very locked in and put on a great performance and don't care for any outside noises.
Mm. Obviously not too many people in the world get to experience what it's like to be in a ring, but let alone, world championship type fight. And you talk about that locked in mindset. And obviously, that was very evident of yourself in that fight. But when you reflect back on that fight, going round by round, were you just locked in through all 12 rounds? And once the fight was over, it was just over? Or were you kind of looking through that fight saying, okay, you felt like, say, round 4 or 5, whatever it might be, that you hadn't figured out, that you knew you were going to win that fight?
I mean, straight on going to the ring, I feel like I was on autopilot. I haven't got any memory from the fight so far. I can't remember a lot, but I knew like I was so locked in. I was just like trying to get the work solved, and it didn't matter who was in front of me. I was just trying to get the the work done. And even after the fight, I felt like I was still like in the zone, and I needed a lot of time to calm down as well.
All right, so when did it finally settle down for yourself? When did you finally sit back and just could really appreciate what you were able to accomplish, becoming world champion, how well you performed? When did it all just kind of come together and you kind of settle down?
Um, that's a good questions. Um, I don't really know. I don't really know because like I'm more excited even after the fight. I
Mm,
know what position I am. When they announced the win, I was happy because I know like the future got brighter now, and even after the fight, claiming the belt, I'm just locked into what's next, and I'm
right.
very excited for it, and I'm looking forward to make a great fight. And yeah, like I said, I'm grateful for the night. I know it was special. I look back to the fight, but what more excites me is like the future, what's next,
Mm.
and what big fights we can make happen. And I'm gonna put my foot down on the gas and keep performing.
I'm curious about this aspect because your entire career, which we're going to get into momentarily, you've essentially been the hunter. You've been the guy that's going out there trying to upset people. You've been the underdog is probably the right word there. Now that's kind of changed for yourself. Now you're the world champion. Now you have so many people wanting what you have. People want to become world champion. They want to go fight Abass. You are now that guy. Have you felt that shift in the mindset now where you almost realize that you're the favorite? You now have this pressure placed upon you, or would you say that hasn't settled in for yourself yet?
I don't feel like that I have any pressure. It's more like I'm somehow relieved now because I know like fights gonna happen. The big
Mm.
fights I wanna be involved in gonna be happen. It's
Right.
just a matter of time because I have something people want, and I don't feel like threatened or something. I feel confident, and I'm ready to get to the next challenge.
Okay, the last thing I want to ask you, actually, two last questions about the Tellez fight, is the 12th round comes around. And I already had you up on my scorecard at that point in time. I thought you already had the fight in the bag. But as I said, you kind of put the cherry on top of the knockdown. When you talk about that moment, do you remember that moment when you knocked down Tellez, or just take us through what all went down at that point in time?
Um, I remember going into the 12th round, and I was surprised it was the 12th round already,
Mm,
and I felt fresh and like I didn't even had like 11 rounds already, and I was like, okay, like it's the last round. I have to secure this, and I want to just to let all the energy out, and Yeah, it was just like a joy who burst out of myself because it was exciting for me too, being in a fight like this and just put on a great performance. So yeah, when he dropped down, I just get like this energy boost, and I want straight to continue. And unfortunately, the fight was already finished, and I'm happy I could perform like this and secure also the win on Norway show. So
Okay, so you already talked about the fact that you don't really remember too much that happened during the fight or right after it, but we've seen the video now. You know, the scorecards are getting read. I talked about them earlier: 117, 110, 115, 112, 116, 111. You're standing there, you hear the new. What was the initial thought and that went through your mind when you heard that?
uh, I feel like most of the part it was relief that all the hard work really had paid off. You know,
Right.
because I just remember the times I have been working, waiting, and trying to get into fights get cancelled or like nothing is happening. I was just in the gym, keep working and waiting patiently. And when I hit the new, I was just so happy from myself too, because it's difficult when nothing is happening and you keep believing, you know, like it's like,
Mm.
are you crazy or like what you've been doing? So it was a moment of like, thank God, you know, like I was grateful and I was relieved that I wasn't crazy and I was enjoying the moment really.
I love what you said right there because, you know, so many people out there go throughout this journey. It takes a long time. You've been a pro fighter now for a long time. You started boxing when you're 13 years old. And I'm sure there was times when you started to say, you know what, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this going to work out? Am I going to be able to accomplish these things? And it's tough. You know, it's a long, drawn out process, but you've reached that pinnacle. You've become world champion now. And so, if you were to give advice to whether it be a young Abass Baraou or just some other young fighters up and coming, trying to go accomplish the goal of becoming world champion one day, what's your advice to them when they're going through the ups and downs of the boxing industry?
Like I had to learn myself as well. Boxing is something I really want to do, and I like being in the fight, and I really love it. It's my passion. So when it got difficult, I was like seeing other choices, like what is the else for me to do, and I didn't want to do it, so I
Mm,
had to make it work, and at the moment I was like, even if it don't it's not going to work, even if it's not for me, I need to
right.
be able to say that I've tried everything and I've done it the right way. So yeah, like anyone else struggling with that, just like keep pushing, keep believing in yourself, and one day there will be like a point you will get to, and yeah, and hopefully that will be a good point like this one too.
As you reflect back on the ups and downs of your boxing career, what would you say was the most difficult moment? Like when you look back, and say, you know, at that moment, I probably doubted myself. I questioned myself the most. When was that for yourself?
I think it was those moments where you're like in the gym and working and nothing is happening.
Mm,
Where you feel great, you feel ready, but no fight is happening. Not
right.
the type of fight you've been preparing for are happening. And like I've done all the work in the amateurs, like I've competed on the highest level and then being a pro and getting better and better, and you have no platform to show it or like no opportunity to go and chase, or it's not like you lose or you try your best and you lose. It's like you haven't even
Hmm.
started, and this is the worst feeling. And then you have to learn and be patient, and being patient in a moment like this, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So but yeah, maybe that makes you also stronger, makes me stronger, prepare me
Right.
for moments like this where I become world champion, and I still want more because I know there's more to get and stuff. And yeah, I feel like I want to make up for all those times where I was waiting patiently in the gym. So now I'm in this moment. I'm enjoying it. I mean, enjoying being the world champion, but it excited me more than what is in front of me. Like, and every top contender in this division also, I want to face them. I want to challenge them. I want to fight them. I want to take their belts. You know,
Mm.
that's like excited me at the moment, and I know it's happening now.
I'm almost wondering now if you look at yourself, if you were to have become world champion, early 20s, mid 20s, something along those lines, do you think you would still have the same amount of hunger that you have today? Or, in a sense, when you look back at it, was all the ups and downs, the trials, the tribulations of your boxing career that got you to this point, has that almost made you into, and almost been a blessing in disguise in terms of giving you that extra hunger now that since you've had to wait so long to become world champion?
Um, I don't know. I'm always hungry, you know. So like,
Mm,
I feel like everything happens to the right time. So
agree.
maybe if it happened like early my 20s, maybe I will be able to handle it too. And I've tried always to do the right work and be humble and patient and, you know, take the hard way if it has to be. So like, if it happened earlier, I'm sure like I would appreciate it too.
Absolutely. Well, I want people to get to know your story a little bit more. And the very beginning of your story, you're born in Germany, and then you spend the first 9 years in Togo. Then you move back to Germany. And so I want to ask with that aspect right there, as you were going through this, all the transitions, going from one country to the other in your young ages, what was that experience like?
It was amazing growing up in Togo. I had a big family there, and I still have great memories to Togo. Maybe that's what makes me also tough in some way.
Mm,
Been saying, I remember me and my cousins playing barefoot football and stuff like that. And you don't really complain, and you're grateful for a lot of things, you know.
right.
And yeah, it was good coming back to Germany. It was like almost easy for me because things are in way easier in Europe and then than in Africa, and I felt like to have to be complaining, you know. So
Mhm. All right, so you get back to Germany and you end up starting boxing at the age of 13. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the story I read was that you were bored at first about boxing. You didn't know if you really want to continue it. And then your trainer or somebody seemed to talk you into staying in boxing. Obviously, that was the right talk because it worked out quite well for yourself. Take us through that. Is that a true story that you were not all in on boxing in the very beginning?
oh yes, definitely. I like to fight like from early on.
Hmm.
And I was getting into a lot of fights in school and competing with other kids and stuff like that. So I had like a lot of energy.
Right.
And they introduced boxing in this youth club. My coach was there. He told me to hit some punches on the back. I did correctly, and he thought I was into a boxing gym already. And you know, I was young, full of energy. I was like, no, I don't like the boxing rules. I don't want stuff like that. And he kind of threatened me, like, if you don't come to the gym, I'm gonna beat you up or something like that. He said, and it was interesting to me how much effort he put into it, you know.
Hmm.
So I just went by the gym and I see. First day I went there, I've seen kids my age. They've been training, had discipline, and jumping the ropes, been sweating, been working hard. And I kind of was like, if they can do it, I have to do it better. And that's why I sticked up Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, and so on, saw the videos fighting under the big lights, and I was like, that it could be on one day me. I just had to stay consistent and believe in it.
Okay, so when was the moment then for yourself that you said, I am all in? Like, what age, I should say, did you start to realize I'm all in on boxing? I know that one day I can be great at the sport. What age were you when that happened?
It was 13. It was 13 the day I went to the gym.
Mm,
Yeah, I went there and it really inspires me seeing kids my age have some guidance, you know, some
right.
paths to follow. And Then I went back home, done some research on boxing, and I knew, okay, that's something I want to do, and I'm gonna do it. And I like talk to myself, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna be better than everyone in this gym.
Mhm.
Talking like setting higher goals for myself and seeing like the big boxing stars, and I'll be like, it could be me. Like
Right.
just thinking creative, but believing it. So from that moment, I was like, I focus fully on boxing.
All right, so I want to kind of take a step back real quickly and talk about the overall state of boxing in the country of Germany. Obviously, it doesn't have a super rich history, but right now, it is a very popular sport. It's growing in Germany right now, and we talk about it. You're a world champion at 154. You have a Jet Caballel currently, who is, I think, will be a world champion in the near future at heavyweight. You talk about being a part of this era where you are now one of, if not the face of boxing in Germany. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I grew up watching big time, big fight nights in Germany as well. We had big superstar here in Germany, and getting older, when I realized that it's kind of going back, it was always my wish for German boxing to be at the top again, and just becoming a world champion now for Germany. And I have my path here. It's just incredible, and I'm blessed to be in this position, and hopefully we can inspire a few people as well and get big time boxing back to Germany.
You talk about the future of German boxing. How bright is it?
It's bright. We have quite big talents in Germany. Like I know there are a lot of fighters. I've seen a lot of talents too. It's
Right.
just the opportunities like big fight nights are not happening here anymore. It has gone a bit back, but I still know that there are talents, great talents, even in the amateurs and everywhere you look, like you have great talents. It's just like the community had gone a bit quiet, and where you don't get big opportunities here anymore. But hopefully that will come in the future, and with people like me and Agit, it could be a great start.
Okay, let's say you were in a power position where you can make the changes, you can make something happen in German boxing, you're the overseer, whatever you want to call it. What would you say is the biggest thing that needs improvement in the terms of boxing in Germany right now?
I feel like we have to focus on the box community and work together, come together. If it's an event we're doing together or stuff like that, more events where you give fighters the opportunities to show themselves, create a platform, and like keeping that
Right.
box community alive. And everything starts from there. Like once we have a box community is alive and we meet, you bring more people into it, get more demand and more competition, and someday maybe the TV will get back into it, you know, or it gets popular again and loved by the people also. Maybe something like that.
All right, so I have a two-part question now I want to ask you, and this last thing I want to ask about German boxing. We know that Caballel will be having a return to the ring in January in Germany, which I think will be huge for you guys out there. So the first part of that question is, how big for German boxing is that, having a star like Caballel come out there and fight? And then on the second part of that question is this: is that a goal of yourself? Would you one day want to go host a world title defense, some type of fight in terms of you're holding your belt in Germany?
Yes, definitely. I'm happy to see that also that Agit is bringing life back to Germany and doing a fight there. That he made it possible. It's actually in in my hometown
Okay.
in Oberhausen, so that's really cool. And there wasn't a long time that big high level fight. There has been boxing fight, but like I'll get this a different level. So having a fight like that in Oberhausen is amazing. And yeah, I always dreamed of to fight in Oberhausen, have a big fight night. It's the arenas I've been watching, like when I grew up, the boxing stars fighting like Felix Sturm and Arthur Abraham and so. So for me, it will be big. I'll be dreaming of it. But no matter what, just fighting again in Germany will be huge. Haven't fought here in a long time, so I would appreciate it if it happens one day.
Has there been any negotiation or talks? Have you considered even, possibly looking to make a fight happen in Germany for yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've
Okay.
been, as I mentioned already, I've been agency free, so we've been in talks with the next fight and everything. So yeah, we've been thinking to do. We've been talking to do a fight in Germany as well.
Okay.
But I think like if it happens now, I'll be happy. But I'm more focused now on the next step, on the next fight, and
Right.
this is more important than everything. And I think down the line, a fight in Germany will happen. I mean, I waited so long time, so there's no point to rush it now. So the
Right.
most important thing is chasing the big fight nights, and I feel like I still have a lot of work to do to bring the light back to Germany. But yeah, it's a good start right now.
So you would say your biggest goal right now is just to make the biggest and the best fight happen, regardless of where it is. And your second priority would be, if in a dream scenario, you could have a big fight happen in Germany, you'd want that, but you'd do the Germany one later on then?
Oh yeah, definitely. My goal is to keep improving, to use
Mhm.
this momentum now to chase after my goals because I feel like it's close, and
Right.
the biggest fight nights are out there, and I have to become a host name myself. And I feel like once I'm there, it will be easy to make fights in Germany and bring the crowd also to Germany.
All right, so I want to ask you about this next aspect. This is your amateur career now. I'm going to list a lot of accolades right now, but you won a bronze medal in the 2017 World Championships, a gold at the 2017 European Championships, where you upset Pat McCormick in the 2017 three-time national champion. You're also a three-time national champion, three-time winner of the prestigious Chemistry Cup. You talk about your amateur career, remarkable. When you look back on those days of your life, how special was that?
It was amazing. I mean, like back in this, being in the amateur, you get tournaments after tournaments, right? You
Mhm.
prepare. It's not big talks. It's not politics. Nothing. You just like go to the tournament. You can face the strongest guy. Uh, it doesn't matter, you know. Like I like that concept because it made me gain a lot of experience, and that's the same mindset I have now. So even going into a fight now, I don't care who it is, because if you have this in the amateur, you will show up to a tournament and you could be facing an Olympic champion or world champion. So you have to be ready. So, and I think like even now, whoever my next opponent is, I have to be ready. I have to be able to deal with him. So I gained a lot of experience from the amateur, which I'm very grateful for, and I've been using that experience till today. So my amateur career was very nice. I looked often back to it and enjoy a few moments.
All right, so if you were to pick your favorite overall in terms of the amateur style, the amateur career you had, or your pro, which one do you prefer? Now, not necessarily, I know obviously there's more money and all in pro ranks, all different aspects, but I mean specifically just talking, like you said, the political aspect, the tournament aspect, more consistency, so on and so forth. Do you prefer your days in the amateur ranks or the pros more?
I like the pros because like I'm older now. I've gained
Right.
experience also as a pro. It's a different step, and the fights are different where you don't have to rush it. You know, I still throw a lot of hands, but you have a lot of time.
Right.
Where in the amateur you have three times 3 minutes, which is very short, and you have to be like you have to rush it in some way. Where in the amateurs you can be smart, you can use your experience, you can use your momentum and everything. So um, even being an amateur, I couldn't wait for the time to start a professional career because I knew that would be something I would really enjoy.
All right, so you make that pro jump then in April 2018. And what I want to fast forward to, though, is talking about your very first career loss. 2020 comes around, your first and your only career loss at this point in time. You face Jack Colque and you end up losing that night. I want to ask about that because, for boxers, you guys want to keep the O. It's a very important thing in today's era, thanks to Floyd Mayweather. I don't think it's that much importance, but I know for a lot of guys it does matter. When you talk about that night for yourself, how difficult was that in terms of the mental aspect of overcoming the very first loss in your career?
Like this loss was something I learned a lot from, you
Hmm.
know. So of course I didn't like to lose, but it was I gained so much things from it because it was the first time as a pro stepping up to a level like this, and I've done this short notice. I've changed coach, whatever, and being able to perform like that against a top operator who also performed well was like a win to me. Like it was a big
Hmm.
step up, and I felt like, okay, I have entered the professional game now, and I know how it works, and I gained a lot of experience. So shortly after, I had to wrap myself up, look at the positive way, see my gains from it, see what I've done wrong, learn from it, and I was right away ready to revenge myself. Unfortunately, that's like went a bit uphand,
Hmm.
but yeah, but like after I knew that it's something I didn't want to pursue anymore, I just like focus on myself because
Hmm.
I wanted to use the experience further on, and I felt like it was a loss, but I'm still using the experience I gained from that.
All right, so then I want to jump forward again, and now I want to talk about Sam Eggington fight because personally, for myself, I feel like that was the moment you really broke onto the scene. Sam Eggington's a great fighter. Obviously, he's a very tough man as well, very well respected in the boxing world. You go in there and you win the EBU European Super Welterweight belt at that point in time. Was that the moment that you felt like all of a sudden things started coming together for yourself? You started feeling like you saw the light at the end of the tunnel. You started having that confidence that you started getting that appreciation, or how big was that night for yourself?
Um, yeah, that was a great moment because I felt like I was waiting for a moment like this a long time to give my career a little boost. And getting into the ring for this moment after a long time out as well was amazing. And securing the European title, I knew it would put me on the world title path. So again, that was a moment to open the doors, and I was willing to kick it in and keep going. So that way led me to the world title today.
When you look back on your career, what would you say has been the toughest fight of it?
The toughest fight of my career,
Correct, yes.
um, I would say like my fifth fight against Carlos Molina is a fight
Mm,
gave me a lot of learning, and the Kulkai fight, and yeah, and maybe the last fight as well.
absolutely. All right. Well, I want to get into your future plans now because you are the world champion, as we've talked about. Obviously, there's lots of great talent on the table. My personal opinion, 154 is the most stacked weight class in boxing today, and you're one of those champions. So I'm curious. You keep talking about this fact that you want the big fights, you want those next opportunities, and you got lots of them. Whether that be going for unification with a guy like Fandor, Zayas, Bakhmut Zavayev, or that's even fighting a guy that's not a champion but a top contender like a Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Charlo, so on and so forth. Who do you want? What is the guy that if you could go pick one man that you want, who's the guy that you want to fight next?
Um, we've been in talks with Top Rank right now, trying to make the Lena Zayas fight, and I
Okay.
think it make a lot of sense. That's what I want next. It's a unification fight, and it's a good one. If you ask me like that, I'm looking forward to make that happen.
Okay.
And we're just trying to find common ground right now. Other than that, there's like you said, it's a stacked division. I feel like every fight is a great challenge, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm focused on to staying active to get back into the ring soon to not be out for a long time now. And yeah, if we can make the unification happen, that's what's next. If not, the next big fight is there.
All right, so if I'm not mistaken, at least what we've heard from reports and rumors is Ennis wants to have his next fight a homecoming for himself in Puerto Rico. Would you be open to that? Would you be okay going out to Puerto Rico, his home, to do unification?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. And then if that fight were not to happen, then what would be your second option? Who would be the second fight that you'd want?
Um, whoever is available, and Boots is mandatory. Got the interim. We can do that fight too if they're interested in.
Okay.
And yeah, like another unification. The Russian Mutavalia is there from Dora. He just got injured.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to make the next big fight, which can be easy made. I'm not trying to wait too much time and wait around for somebody or being caught up in some long negotiation.
There were rumors, I know, going back to when you were about ready to fight, that Jermell Charlo was in the mix there. He's obviously with the champion recess. Do you know where those talks stand? Was that ever something that you thought could possibly happen? And could that fight even happen in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like if they're open to it, if it's even possible, why not? It's a big name, and I would love to have that on my record too.
Okay. Now, a couple of things I want to ask before I let you go. One of which is this: Jaron Ennis obviously made his 154-pound debut on Saturday. When you look back on that performance, he becomes an interim. Obviously, we said the mandatory for yourself now. What was your thoughts on that performance and him fighting Lima?
Um, I know he's a great fighter, he's a great talent, but I feel like this fight didn't say much.
Hmm.
It was the first one knockout, like, and the first time in the 154 division. I haven't seen much to give some judgment now. It's a great performance, good knockout and stuff, but I feel like it doesn't say much.
Hmm. Were you surprised about him fighting Lima? Because I know there was a lot of debate, leading up to it. Boots, obviously, we already know how talented he is, what he's accomplished at 147. And Lima's a guy that obviously is a solid fighter, but I think most people probably agree he's not a world level type fighter. When you look at that aspect, were you shocked to see him go and take that fight for his very first one?
Um, to be honest, I didn't really mind. I
Okay,
know he had a fight lined up, so and I knew it's gonna be an interim, so I know what's gonna happen.
right.
So I didn't have much opinion on it. Like,
All right. I also want to ask your prediction on a couple upcoming fights. They all involve guys at 154, one of which is this. Virgil Ortiz will be making his return to the ring against Erickson Lubin next month. When you look at that fight, who do you think will win that one?
I think Virgil Ortiz will win.
Okay. The second one, Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn. Obviously, Conor Benn is expected to go back down to 154 or maybe 147 when it comes time. But who do you have winning that fight?
I have no idea. I will tune in and watch it.
That's good. And then the
It was
last one I want to ask.
entertaining fight, the first one, so I
Yeah.
have no picks, and I will tune in and get entertained, I guess.
Absolutely. And then the other one is right before we had the interview, it got announced that Fedor Thurman's back on now, but it's going to be scheduled in January as the co-main event for Manny Pacquiao's fight. That fight now
Oh,
officially is going to be happening again. When you talk about that, who do you have winning between Fedor and Thurman?
mm, a good question. I don't, maybe from Dora. I'll say
Okay.
from Dora. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I got a couple questions before I let you go. One of them is this aspect. You are a free agent. I know you mentioned that a little bit earlier in the show as well. When you talk about that, is there any negotiations you want to sign with somebody long term, or do you plan on staying as a free agent now for the foreseeable future?
Um, it depends on the offer which coming around. I know we've been in talk with a few promoters right now. We haven't finalized anything. It depends how good the offer is. So, because I'm in a good position right now.
Right.
So, like, if it's a great offer, we'll do it with it. If not, then there's no need to rush.
So what would you personally prefer then? Would you prefer to do a fight-by-fight basis type of thing? Would you want a long-term offer? Like when you say, the offer's right, I know obviously financially that's going to be important, but are you looking for long-term commitment or do you want a more short-term one?
Um, I'm looking for what my manager says makes sense.
Makes sense. Absolutely, man. Well, the other aspect too I want to ask you is this. You've talked about your goals, you want to be undisputed, those type of things. And so if I were to ask you this question, if we were to talk in 1 year time and we're going to this interview, we're talking about everything you accomplish over the next calendar year, what would be a dream year for yourself? What do you want to accomplish in terms of how many fights, who you want to fight, what accomplishments you've accomplished? What do you want to get done within the next calendar year?
At least I want to have a unification next year for
Okay.
sure. Have another belt and maybe do a defense or go for the third belt.
All right. Well, I've got one final question for you. It's the question I like wrapping up each and every single interview with, and that is talking about your legacy. Obviously, one day you'll move on from boxing, and when that day does come, what do you want your legacy to be for what you have accomplished both inside and outside of the ring?
Um, I want like my legacy to be something I can look back at it when I'm a bit older than now and be proud of it and introduce to my children and they can look up to it,
I
like
love it.
making the great fights, improve, and I would want to leave the sport with the feeling that I have reached my great potential and I've done everything I wanted to do.
I love that. Well, Bass, I appreciate you for taking time to come on today. It's been a blessing and honor having you on the show, and I cannot wait to see what God's got in store for you in the future, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
Of course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
God bless.
I appreciate you guys all for tuning into the interview. I will have that clipped up, edited out, and then posted on my YouTube channel a little bit later on today. But I'm going to go on a short break, and then we've got a lot to get on to the rest of today's show. We've got fight recaps going down of all the fights that went down this past weekend, also some boxing news as well. So, as well as always, if you guys have any comments, topics, or questions for me to address on today's show, make sure to leave those in the chat, and I will address them as soon as I get back from the break as well. But I'm going to go on a short break. I'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll get right back to the remainder of the show. I'll see you guys shortly. God bless you guys. Test, test, check, check, test, test. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the SchuZ Show. Hope you guys are all having a phenomenal day. Sorry for the longer break. I had a couple technical difficulties I had to get figured out right there, but we should be back live and good to go. Just gonna check the audio real quickly. All right, we should be good now. So, as I said, there was a couple different audio issues going on in the very first part of the show, I realized. So, with that being said, there we got the camera. Right, let's get right back to it, though. So, on this portion of the show, we're going to get into a lot of boxing fight recaps, including the one that went down with Dave Allen in the UK. Also getting into the Boots Ennis performance that he had on Saturday as well. Then I'm going to get into some boxing news as well. But as always, if you guys have any comments, questions, topics for me to address on today's show, make sure to leave those thoughts in the chat, and I'll make sure to get and address those as we go throughout the duration of today's show. So let's get right to it, though. I'm going to start in order, and that is with the Dave Allen versus Arslanbek-Makhmudov fight going down in Manchester, UK this past weekend. So I'm a little bit shocked by what happened there. I'll be honest, I gave you guys a preview on Friday, and I said this. I said the very first few rounds, do expect Dave Allen to lose them. Why? Because Makhmudov is going to go out there. He always starts off strong, and then he completely comes apart the second half of the fight. He does a horrible gas tank. And yet we went to a 12-round decision, and the winner was not Dave Allen. Shocked me. And I'll be honest, I'm impressed by Makhmudov because he went out there. He had a phenomenal performance. He was able to withstand Dave Allen throughout all rounds, even going up to round 9, if I'm not mistaken, which was the round where Dave Allen put the onslaught on him. He still survived that. He didn't back down, and that is a different version we've seen of him in the past. Now, I'm going to be honest. He won the fight. It was very clear. Dave Allen needed a knockout. The scorecards read 115 to 111, 116 110, 117 to 109. But what I'm baffled by is in this performance was Dave Allen. Listen, I like Dave Allen. Dave Allen is a phenomenal character. He's a great person. He's a great person to have around the boxing scene. He sells tickets. He's fun. He's embraced by the fan base. There's no denying that. I love Dave Allen. Everything he brings to boxing is something that we need more of in boxing. He's just good for the sport of boxing. That being said, part of what makes him such a unique person is that in his career, you're going to have these roller coaster effects. You're going to have these ups and downs in his career, and that's why we have him where he's at today. There's going to be times where you just know he doesn't go all in on boxing. It's not his biggest, greatest love of his life, and that's fine. He is who he is, and we have to embrace that. And what we witnessed this past weekend was it was not the best performance in the world. I feel like he had more left in the tank. He just didn't go out there and was not capable of doing it for one reason or another in that fight. Not that it was a horrible performance, but I felt like the game plan just was not right for him to go out there and win the fight. But here's the situation. When you have Dave Allen, we know he's capable of fighting at a high level. We've seen him take out Johnny Fisher. We've seen him have great moments in his career. But the big storyline that will always revolve around Dave Allen is this. He's not all in on boxing. But that doesn't mean you have to hate the guy. Dave Allen isn't someone that we ever looked towards as a guy who was going to be a superstar in boxing, was going to accomplish all these great things. But what you can expect in Dave Allen is a man that will always have a high character, always bring a great energy to a fight, week to a fight. He's always going to be entertaining, and that's why you see this massive fan base rally behind Dave Allen. And so when I look at this, I'm not very disappointed. It is what it is. I would have loved to have seen him go out there and win that fight, but it is what it is. He will be back because he sells great tickets. He's a great character guy. He's a fun fighter, and it is what it is. But here's the other side I'm going to talk about, and this is not regarding Dave Allen. This is regarding Makhmudov. And we saw two heavyweights fight this weekend, both of which had great performances, and both of which called out Anthony Joshua. So the big question is this. You have a guy we're going to talk about very shortly in Vianello. You also have Makhmudov. Both guys are heavyweight fringe contenders, and when you talk about that, that's who we know Anthony Joshua will be fighting next. Both guys want him. And honestly, Brandon Moore, you can throw him in the list. There's a lot of these heavyweight guys that want to fight, and we all know this. Anthony Joshua is not returning to fight a star or a top-ranked contender. It is going to be a tune-up fight. We all know that, and he has every right in the world to do so. And so all these heavyweights are looking for a big payday. Makhmudov wanted it. He called Anthony Joshua, as did Vianello. And so we'll see what happens from here. But Makhmudov had a great run. If he gets the fight, he's earned it. He beat Dave Allen. There's rumors that came out, Boxing Kingdoms, one of which that talked about the fact of saying, hey, if Makhmudov defeats Dave Allen, he's been set up to go fight Anthony Joshua. So we will see what happens there. But yes, solid heavyweight fight that went down this weekend. Super featherweight division. Josh Padley, Reece Bellotti via unanimous decision. Josh Padley defeated Reece Bellotti via unanimous decision. 99-92, 97-93, 97-93. 99-92 scorecard was abysmal. It was not that that wide of a scorecard. Reece Bellotti fought well, but it went exactly as I had planned. I said Josh Padley will win by decision. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Reece Bellotti makes for good fights, fun fights. He's a tough fighter. But listen, this was a situation where he's coming off of a brutal loss just a little bit ago. He's right back in the ring way too quickly in my eyes. He's fighting Josh Padley, who was more rested up, who was a good fighter, who's coming off of a tune-up fight. It was never set up for a chance for Reece Bellotti to win this fight. It is what it is. That's why I said from the beginning. That's why I never was very high on Reece Bellotti taking this fight. But he took the fight. It happened exactly according to plan. Josh Padley looked phenomenal. What I will say is this, though. Shakur Stevenson's defeat of Josh Padley will continue to age like fine wine. I was very high on it when he had that fight, and I told a lot of people going back to that fight in February where I said, listen, Shakur Stevenson is not fighting a bum. Josh Padley had defeated Mark Chamberlain. Josh Padley is a legitimate fighter. He's a very skilled fighter. Let's look at Josh Padley with more respect, and people didn't want to give it to him. He pushed Shakur Stevenson quite a bit in that fight, and it is what it is. Josh Padley will be a good name on Shakur Stevenson's resume, and it only continues to age great. For Josh Padley, he's got a lot of options on the table. His name continues to grow. He's a good fighter. Excited for that. Other interesting fights that went down on the card. At flyweight, Hamza Uddin defeated Paul Roberts via 5th round TKO. And then super feather, and I'm really high on Hamza Uddin, just let me say that. Keep your eye on him. Very good prospect right there. Love what I saw from him this weekend. What was one of the most remarkable scorecard readings that I have ever seen featured Bilal Fawaz defeating Junadab Boston via majority decision, 96-95, 95-95, 96-94. Just phenomenal. When you look at his reaction, his story is one of a kind. It is absolutely remarkable what this man has had to go through. And there's a couple of tweets you can go find it on X in regards to his story. You can go read about it, research him. What that man has overcome to reach this point is nothing short of remarkable. Absolutely spectacular. And so to see him, and you saw the joy, you saw the excitement he had when he won that belt, every bit of props to him. Absolutely phenomenal story. Just so happy that he was able to go out there and win that fight. And then Ibraheem Sulaimaan, he defeated James Chiraji via points 80-72. Good performance there by him as well. All right, let's go over to America because that was taking place in the UK. Then we go over into America where we featured a very interesting fight go down in Philadelphia, and which was absolutely a very, how do I even say this, on par performance. So the WBA interim super welterweight title, which now is held by Jaron Ennis, he defeated Uisma Lima via 1st round TKO. All right, there is mixed opinions on this performance by Boots Ennis. Rightfully so. I made it very clear on Friday's show where I said this. At the end of the day, Boots Ennis is making his debut at 154. I had no problem with him taking the Lima fight to begin with. While it was not my preference, and nor do I think he needed a tune-up fight, I understood it, and I was going to move on from it. It is what it is. But I made it very clear, though, that there were terms in my okaying of this fight. What were those terms? It was that Boots Ennis must go out there and make an absolute statement. A welcome to the 154-pound division. I am here. I've arrived moment. And I said that had to be done within the first 5 to 6 rounds. Well, Boots Ennis, he answered that call, more than answered that call, and within the first round of the fight, he had Uisma Lima drop twice, and on top of that, then he gets the cherry on top KO in the very first round to become the interim WBA super welterweight champion. Now, massive performance. I made it very clear. Boots Ennis had to do a lot of damage. He had to say, I am here. I'm arrived at 154 with a performance against Lima, and he did just that. So hats off to Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis proved that this man is more than capable of fighting at 154. He proved that he is one of the 10 most skilled, talented fighters in all of boxing today. He proved that he is going to be a problem at the 154-pound weight class. And also, he might have just given a little bit of a preview as to why he has a chance to be one of the next faces of boxing this next generation. Not just in America, but I mean boxing globally. This man has a total package. He has the name, the image, all the stuff you want to talk about, and then inside of the ring. His ability to switch hit, his ability to go from change different styles, change different stances, his ability to be entertaining, power, everything. The whole shebang is all wrapped up into Boots Ennis. But there is one question I must beg to ask. Are we going to get the big fights now? Because very quickly, we're seeing Boots Ennis approach the Tank Davis conversation. What do I mean by that? I mean that he's approaching the point where we all universally agree that that man is special, that that man has that it factor. But then we look at the resume and there's nothing to back it up. And so you reach this very interesting predicament where you say, okay, I always need to value the resume. I always need to look at who is on this resume. Who did you prove what you're capable of against? And then you look at the same aspect, the other hand, and you say, okay, we see the talent. We had this issue with Tank Davis his entire career. Obviously, we know where he stands today, and Tank Davis does not have that resume. For Boots Ennis, it's time to make that jump to fighting that guy. And I mean that guy. I mean, you fight those top guys at 154. It's time to start building up that resume. He is more than ready for it. He will be successful if he accomplishes it and goes after it. But it is time to go after the Virgil Ortizes. It's time to go after the Sebastian Fondoras. It's time to go after the Abass Baraous. It is time to go after all the world champions and the top contenders. It's time to make his name solidified and show why he is one of the 10 most talented fighters in all boxing. And quite frankly, he's probably much higher up on that list than just in the top 10. It's time for that to happen. Beautiful performance. Lima should never have been in the ring with a guy like Boots Ennis. Phenomenal performance, though. He got the job done. He made that statement, and I'm very happy to see that when what he did this weekend out there. So very good performance by Boots Ennis. Very intrigued by what he did out there. All right, now let's go to another aspect. Some of the undercard results from the Boots Ennis fight include this. At heavyweight, the man I already talked a little bit about, Guido Vianello. He defeated Abass Baraou via 5th round TKO. I don't know why he was the underdog in this fight. I said on Friday this was going to happen. I like Abass Baraou. He's a solid up-and-coming prospect, but Richard Torres Jr. is better than Baraou, and Richard Torres Jr. was pushed to his absolute limit against Vianello to the point where up until the final grand finale that Richard Torres Jr. had a great run on to end the final couple rounds, it looked like a fight that he was losing very, very quickly. Vianello is a legitimate heavyweight fighter, a solid man, and he is somebody that you could say is, what's the proper word? Because he's not that. Okay, he's a man that's just a solid, good contender. I'll say that. I was going to call him a gatekeeper, but obviously he's never really a legitimate threat at becoming a world champion, so it's hard to give him the qualification as a gatekeeper. But Vianello, very good heavyweight, solid fighter, and he proved that once again that he's going to be an issue at the heavyweight division. I think he will get the Anthony Joshua fight, or at least has a very good chance at reaching that. Tahmir Small, something that I told you guys to keep an eye on, welterweight fighter. He defeated Jose Ramon Vasquez via unanimous decision, 98-91, 96-93, 95-94. Very impressive performance there. I love what I watched from Tahmir Smalls. Super bantamweight Dennis Thompson defeats Sean Diaz via split decision, 60-53, 57-56, and 57-56. Thompson. Diaz was a 57-56 on the other one. Solid performance there. He's a good prospect as well. Then the two young guys. Super featherweight division. Zaquin Moses defeats Antonio Dunton L. Jr. via unanimous decision, 60-54 across all three scorecards. He is a problem, man. I look at Zaquin Moses. This is a man that I'm very high on. When I just look at what he brings to the table, this is a special, special fighter right here. I absolutely love it. I think when we talk about Zaquin Moses, this is a man that has a very high ceiling. He is going to be a problem for a long time. Keep your eye on him. He is special. Another young prospect, Giorgio defeated James Wilkins 80-72 on all of his scorecards. Two very good prospects. I would love to see those two guys fight in the future, but just two absolutely phenomenal prospects that we got to witness this past weekend. Other notable fights from this past weekend. Former Drawn Boots and his opponent, Karen Chuksadarzin, he stops Joel Marcos Mafeded in the second round in Liga Latvia. The Ukrainian is ranked number 6 with the IBF, number 4 the WBO at 147. In my honest opinion, Karen Chuksadarzin is a man that does not get the credit or respect that he deserves. Just because he went out there and had two losses to Boots Ennis, in which he did not look very good at all in, doesn't mean he's not good. There's a difference between the elite of the elite and just being a very good fighter. Karen is a very good fighter. He's not an elite world champion, multi-weight class champion. He's not in that elite pound tier. Boots Ennis is. It's not Karen's fault. He's just not like that guy. But Karen is a legitimate fighter, and we're going to see them continue to rise up in the future. Also, Yoenli Hernandez stopped journeyman Ramon de la Cruz Sena after the first round following a savage body shot knockdown. He moves to now 9-0 out of Cuba. This is another man that I love watching. I'm glad he stayed active, got back in the ring. He looked absolutely sensational, and he is a legitimate problem. We need to keep our eyes on him because he is special. One heck of a fighter right there. Very, very obvious as well. With that being said, though, let's get into this aspect now. This is some boxing news that we have going down. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis will be scored by 2 professional judges and 1 AI judge. Interesting. You know, I'm not against this. I think we all have the assumption that one day in the future, AI judging hopefully will be advanced enough to where we can replace the judges. Because we all know this. Judges are a big problem in boxing today. They are corrupt. They screw fighters over. They don't know what they're watching half the time. And the more we can remove human emotions from judging fights and rounds, the better off we will be. Do I think AI is in a position to be able to be an accurate judge today to the full extent? No. But testing it out in an exhibition fight, I'm not against it. I'm excited to see how it performs and what it looks like comparative to a lot of people's scorecards. But yes, there will be one AI judge in the judge and two real professional judges in the Jake Paul Tank Davis fight. I'm excited to see what this looks like. As I said, it's not an official fight, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But I think the more we can start getting AI judging acclimated into boxing, the better off it will be for the health of boxing moving forward, because there's just too much corruptness, too much issues with judges in boxing today. So that's good in my eyes. Confirmed, Diego Pacheco will face Kevin Lele Sadjo in a super middleweight fight on December 13th in Stockton, California. It will be a battle between the 24-0 Diego Pacheco and 26-0 Kevin Lele Sadjo. Tito Mercado and Gabriel Flores will be on the undercard. This is a great fight. I think Diego Pacheco is continuing to work his way up. He got the job done against Trevor McCumbee, which was a solid performance. He beat Steven Nelson earlier in the year. This is a good step up. I've always said they don't need to rush him. He is young, very, very young. He's got many, many great years in front of himself. Slowly build the man up. This is the right fight to make. I think Diego Pacheco will win it, but he's also going to be pushed more so than he ever has in his career, and that's going to make him better for us. So I love this matchmaking right here. This was a perfect fight to make, a battle of unbeatens going down before the year ends on December 13th, Stockton, California. The WBO Middleweight Eliminator between Denzel Bentley and Endry Saavedra will now go to purse bids following the pair failing to reach a deal. The pair were close to reaching a deal for the fight to take place on the Wardley Parker undercard, but negotiations failed in the last moment. Disappointing, but end of the day, Denzel Bentley needs to get back in the ring. It's been way too long with him outside of the ring. He's a fun, good fighter that I love watching. He's been in prime position now for a long time, and this fight now falls apart. Absolutely disappointing. Hopefully the purse bids come to fruition. They get this fight booked, made, scheduled, and we get to see it in the near future. Hopefully by the end of the year, if not early 2026. But yes, this fight is officially going to purse bids. I don't see any more comments in the comment section right now, but I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your guys' day. I will be back live tomorrow. I'll let you guys know what time that's going to be, probably around the evening time tomorrow night, maybe even early afternoon, late afternoon. I don't know. I'll let you guys know. But I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your guys' day. I will see you guys back tomorrow. God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. God bless you guys.